Okay, Foundations and Pre-Calc 10. Here's just a short video on solving some of the most fully loaded exponent questions. So the ones that'll give you the most trouble. So as you can see here, questions like this are going to bring all of our exponent laws into play. Power to power, multiplying common bases, dividing common bases, but then also rearranging questions so that we have multiple different bases. So now if you look at just the first thing here, I have no exponent on the outside of my brackets, so I'm not going to do anything to it. Now here, I have a -2. So it's going to go power to a power into here, and into here. Now, remember that 4x squared y to the -3 means 4 times x squared times y to the -3. So that -2 is going to power to the power on that 4 to the 1. That gets forgotten a lot. Don't forget. So now what you have is you have 2x to the -1, y squared times 4 to the -2, x to the -4, y to the +6, and then all over 12x squared, y squared. Now what I'm going to do next is I'm going to combine things I can combine on the top. Now obviously I can't do anything with 2 and 4 because they're different base. We could remedy that later, but let's just do it this way instead. I'm going to put my coefficients next to each other. So now I have 2 times 4 to the -2, because when you multiply, order doesn't matter. Then I have x times x, so I add the exponents when we multiply a common base. So I get x to the -5, and then my y times y, so I get y to the 8. And then on the bottom, I have 12x squared, y squared. Now I'm still going to do my exponent laws with my variables before I deal with my negatives, because I have x to the -5 and over x squared, so I'm subtracting my exponents. So now I get 2 times 4 to the -2, x to the -7, and then y to the 6, and then all over just 12. So now let's deal with the negatives. A negative exponent in the numerator becomes a positive exponent in the denominator, and vice versa. So we can rewrite this as 2y to the 6 over 12 times 4 squared, x to the 7. And then just for the last bit, you might as well simplify your numbers. So 2 can divide with 12 and you end up with 1 over 6. That's one way to do it. You could have simplified that in many different ways. So now you have y to the 6 over 6 times 16. 4 squared is 16, x to the 7, which is 96. So y to the 6 over 96x to the 7. So it's a step-by-step process. Take your time. Try to not make mistakes on your exponent laws, on your simple addition, subtraction, particularly with negatives, so be careful. Let's look at another. So this one, there's two ways to do this. So this first slide I'll solve it one way, and then the second slide I'll solve it the other way. This first way, I'm going to solve the inside first. So that's going to go in there, there, and there, and there's no other exponents. So in this big bracket, I now have 5 to the -2, x to the 6, y to the -8, and then times 6x squared, y to the -5, all over 15x squared, y to the -4, and then all of that's to the -2. I'm going to leave that to the -2 to the very end. So that gives me the 5 to the -2. I'm going to bring down right away, make it a positive. So now I have 5 to the +2 times 15 on the bottom. And then I'll keep the x squared and the y to the -4 for now. And now I will combine, so the 6 stays at the top, and then I will combine the x to the 6 and x to the 2 to give me an x to the 8, and a y to the -8, y to the -5 gives me y to the -13. So I'm going to come up here. If you want, you can cancel some factors with the numbers. So 6 and 15 both have a factor of 3, so we're left with a 2 and another 5. So now we have let's do the exponents. So x to the 8 over x to the 2 is going to give me, so I have 2, and then x to the 6. And then -13 minus -4 is -13 plus 4. So y to the -9. And then over 5 squared, and now times 5, which gives me 5 cubed. And then simplify finally. So I have 2x to the 6. 5 cubed is 125, and y to the negative 9 becomes y to the positive 9. You can't do anything more than that. So that is method 1. Here's method 2. So if I have a negative exponent on the outside of a massive fraction, remember that a negative makes your numerator into your denominator. And if you had a negative in your denominator, it would send it up to the numerator. So you can actually flip this entire big fraction right away. So do this. Nothing changes on the inside. But you can do this. And then what happens is the negative outer exponent, that negative 2, becomes positive 2. Then you can continue from there. So now I'm still going to simplify the inside. I don't necessarily recommend this method. A lot of people will make mistakes using this method. So it's totally up to you, but I did want to show you both just so you have an idea. That's 6x squared. So continue to simplify here. I'll bring the 5 up, so you got 15 times 5 squared. All of this is to the 2. And then you have x to the, let's simplify the bottom. So 5's gone, so we have the 6, and then we have x to the 8, y to the negative 13. On the top we have x squared, y to the negative 4. So then you're going to have, let's continue here, sorry, 15 times 25, and then x to the 2 minus x to the 8 gives us x to the negative 6. And then y to the negative 4, y to the positive 9, all over 6. 15 and 6 cancel a 3 out. So now 125, y to the 9 over 2x to the 6. And all this is to the power 2. Now I'm looking at this and I'm like, okay, now we're going to water bomb the 2 into everything else. And for the sake of the fact that I do not have a calculator next to me, I'm just going to write this as 125 to the 2, and then y to the 18 over 2 to the 2, x to the 12. So there is your answer. Now you're probably thinking, well, hold on a second. This answer is different than the one previous. You have the 125 on top, and you're right. And why? Because I forgot the last step. We have all of this to the power of, let's just do the bottom, sorry. We have all of this. I just forgot to continue to write this part to the negative 2, to the negative 2. This would be to the negative 2, which would then give me 2 to the negative 2, x to the negative 12, over 125 to the negative 2, y to the negative 18, because this has to go into every single term. And then, since all of those are negative, we flip them all. So 125 squared, y to the positive 18 over 2 to the 2, x to the 12. And that is the exact same answer. Boom, boom. So you see, sometimes it's good to do it twice, so you know you didn't screw up. Don't forget to keep that outer exponent. But those are the big ones. Have fun with those. Take your time with those. Give yourself lots of space to do those. Okay? Thank you so much. If you want to see more, let me know. I'll throw up as many short ones as I can. Thanks.